Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own loaf of bread. Everyone seems to be baking at the moment, and I understand it is difficult to get your hands on flour in the shops, but if you can get your hands on some strong bread flour, possibly even just plain flour will do, then you can make this loaf. So for this recipe you're going to need 350 millilitres of full fat milk, but you could use semi-skimmed as well, 50 grams of butter, 500 grams of strong bread flour or plain flour. I'm using a granary flour. 55 grams of caster sugar. 1 packet of fast action yeast that should weigh, it should be a 7 gram packet or 7.5 gram packet of fast action yeast. A little extra milk in a pot just to add to the flour in case it's too dry. And just some fine sea salt in a shaker. Okay, and a wooden spoon for stirring, and what you can see here in front of me, you're going to prove your loaf in a glass bowl. That's important. It should be a glass bowl. It should be well oiled, and the cling film should also be oiled. That way, when you put the cling film over the top and the dough rises, it doesn't form a crust on the bread. So you're going to start off by putting your milk and your butter, well, your milk, sorry, first into a little saucepan, heating it on the stove just to the point where it starts to boil, so you can kind of see the bubbles starting to form around the edge of the milk. Then just turn the heat off, put the butter in the pan with the milk, let the butter melt, and then let the milk and butter mixture rest until it comes to what we call hand temperature. So you should be able to touch the top of the milk with your hand. It shouldn't feel much different. There shouldn't be much of a temperature change. So that's at that right now. In here I have the flour and I've got the sugar mixed together in here. I'm going to add the yeast, and then we're going to add the milk, and we're going to mix it together and make ourselves a nice dough. So I'm just going to add the yeast. What I like to do is just take a fork, get it well combined before adding any of the wet ingredients. So the kind of dough that you're aiming for here is going to be quite wet. It's not as wet as like a scone dough, but it's going to be moister or damper than your usual bread dough. So you can do the usual thing of make a well in the centre and add the wet ingredients. I like to start stirring about halfway through, otherwise it all gets a bit clumpy. So add all of that. Give it a good stir with the spoon, and as soon you should be able to start using your hands. So just make sure you've washed your hands very thoroughly before starting this. So just scrape off the remaining mixture and then just combine it with your hands until it all comes together as a dough. Now I have the milk standing by just in case it gets a little dry whilst I'm combining it, but actually this feels like it's going to be pretty good. So there we go, that feels about right. So once you've got your dough combined, you're going to take it out of the bowl in a minute and put it onto the surface and knead it. Push this down here. You can get our little bowl here with some flour in, plain flour. Just scatter it on your surface. You don't need to scatter lots. You only want a little bit, and you can add more when necessary. The only point at which you need to add more is if the dough really sticks. So, see, it's starting to stick already, so just do that. Move it across, a little bit more flour. Right, so when you're kneading dough, press down with the heel of your hand, press the dough forward, fold it back, and repeat. This is going to take me a moment because I've got to do this for 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to fast forward this bit. There we go. So once you've done that for about 10 minutes, you can stop, form your dough into a ball, and then you're going to put this into your oiled glass or ceramic bowl. Pop it in there. Put your oiled cling film back over the top, and then you're going to put this somewhere to prove. Now, best places I find for proving is somewhere dry, warm and dark. Somewhere like an airing cupboard. I've got a little spot that I use, which is just underneath my breakfast bar near the radiator. But not too warm, obviously, because that could kill yeast, but there you go. So I'll see you in a couple of hours once this is proved. You want to prove it for about 2 hours. So we're back. It's been about 2 hours and the dough has proofed. Now we're going to do another 2 hour proof after this, but right now we're going to knead it again for another 10 minutes, and this time you're going to add your salt. The reason that I add salt after I've kneaded it once is because you shouldn't add your salt in with your yeast and mix the two together, because the salt can actually kill the yeast. So I tend to knead it in along with the second round of kneading. So what I do, I've got a little bit of flour already out on here, but there we go, just a tiny bit more. And then actually shake a bit of salt on the table and shake a bit of salt on there, and you can shake some more on in a minute. It equates to eventually adding about a teaspoon of salt, which is all you need. So same technique we used before. Heel of the hands, like that. There we go, and you're going to do this for another 10 minutes, occasionally adding another little shake of salt. So I'll see you in another 2 hours time. Once you've done your 10 minutes kneading, put it back in your proving area and let it proof for another 2 hours. See you in a bit, bye. So it's about 2 hours later, and as you can see, that is an impressive proof. So it's really rising now. This is what we kind of want to see. It has to sort of double in size. So I'm going to take the cling film off, just kind of gently fold it back. We'll take it out of the bowl, and all we're going to do now is shape it into a loaf. You're going to knock a little bit of the air out of it as you do this, but then we're going to prove it again for about another half hour in the loaf tin, and that will shape our loaf before it goes into the oven. So gently get it out of the bowl. And then all you can do, roll it out flat, roll it like that, and just tuck the ends a little bit, place it, oh, very nearly forgot there, that was naughty, nearly forgot, generously flour your loaf tin. Just get a nice good coating of flour all over the inside of the loaf tin there. I make a mess when I do this, but I'll tidy it all up later, I promise. My husband looks dubious. Right, so lift the loaf into the loaf tin like that. Take your oiled cling film off of here, lift it over, cover, but don't wrap completely. Don't tuck it underneath, because otherwise your loaf won't rise properly. So just cover it with the cling film. It will rise, and the cling film will then rise with it. Then put it back in your proving area for about half an hour, and that time it should rise again, and then it'll be ready to go in the oven. So here you go, that's the fully proofed loaf. Isn't it gorgeous? All you do now, remove the cling film, pop it in the oven, 200 degrees on fan assisted or 220 on a normal for about 35 minutes until it's a lovely brown on top. Rotate it once if you can, about halfway through, so it doesn't burn on any sides. And that's it, you should have a beautiful loaf. I will come back in a few minutes once this is baked and show you what it should look like. And there you have it, a lovely brown baked loaf. It should taste slightly sweet and absolutely delicious. And that is how you make Mrs. B's milk loaf. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, and I hope to see you again. Bye!